Curtis Mayfield got it right. We got to keep on pushing. All right, with us we have a guest, and we're going to let him introduce himself and tell us what he's about.
Hello, my name is Zeb Foulks. I'm a Christian filmmaker from Columbia, South Carolina. I write, direct, and produce movies and television shows.
So you're a Christian.
Absolutely.
Okay, that means that your subject matter is.
My subject matter is Christian type of.
So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I started, I produced and directed my first movie in 2009, Safe House, a Christian story. And I've been doing it ever since then, up until this point now. So, got a new movie out called Zion 185. It's a historical movie that takes place right here in Columbia, South Carolina. We're actually in Blythewood, and it's about the history of Little Zion Baptist Church, which started in 1832, and it was started by slaves.
Now, where is Little Lion located?
It's off of 321 going toward Blythewood.
Okay, is that near? I'm trying to. Is that near Crane Creek?
It's up from
Up
Crane.
from
Yeah,
Crane
I
Creek.
mean, yeah,
Okay,
but you're
okay,
in the
yeah,
right
okay,
direction.
okay. I
So,
know exactly. Who's the pastor over there
Eddie Davis.
now? Eddie Davis. I know
Yes, sir.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
excellent man of God.
How long have you? When did you start this project? I should say. Why did you start it?
That's a good question. The reason we started it is because this church has been in existence for 185 years. So this weekend marks the 185th anniversary of the church. So we felt like it would be a great thing to do a documentation of all the events that led up to this church still being in existence. So as a filmmaker, I put it in a storyline also. So it's a documentation, but it's also a film. It's a movie.
And tell us about the research you did
Wow.
working on this project.
Well, I was blessed in that aspect because a lot of the members that's part of the church now have been a part of the church for many, many years, and a lot of the research came from the members of the church and the museum, the historical museum, has a lot of the information about the church also.
Oh, okay, we lost that call. Do you? I mean, was it difficult to come other than the members telling you stories in terms of anything that was printed, anything that was preserved down through the years? Was it difficult for you to come across that? The
No,
reason I'm asking that question is because a lot of times I hear that we don't preserve our history. We don't do a good job of
right,
doing that, especially our institutions.
right. The amazing part about it, the history part wasn't the difficult part because, like I said, a lot of the family members that go to the church, it's like they passed on to the next generation. So a lot of that history was intact.
Past time.
Right, right. So the challenge is to make it out of a story, to make it flow like a story. So that was like the biggest challenge, but we got it done though. It took us a little over a year. We've been working on it, so it's done and it's ready to go. October the 21st at Word of God Baptist Church off of Broad River Road.
So, and I'm going to come back to that when it's going to be shown, where
Right.
tickets and all that. But so you had to make a storyline, so it's a plot in some kind of way.
Well, not actually a plot, but what I wanted to do is pinpoint the pivotal things that made the church continue on for that long. 185 years, that's a long,
Yeah, it is.
very long time to do anything. So, the interesting part was to try to connect the dots to make it go from one generation to the next. Because, like I said, the church was started by slaves in a brush arbor. And a brush arbor is basically when the masters would let the slaves, I guess, off, if you want to put it that way. They would go to this place called a brush arbor, which was made of woods, branches and twigs, where they would hide themselves and praise and worship God inside there.
Now, you know what's interesting about that? When you say that's passed down.
Right.
My grandmother used to tell me and my brother stories about that had been
Wow.
passed. Yeah, that had been passed down. And you know, we were kids. You know,
Right.
oh well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Right.
That's wow. You know, but you know, as you grow older, and
It
you
becomes
hear
so
those stories,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wish I had a tape recorder to have taped that because she used to tell us
Right.
stories just like that.
Right. And that, to me,
But of
that's
course, we were so young and crazy we didn't understand the
that's kind of like the sad part of it because this is um, important history of our people.
mm-hmm.
And like the younger generation, they don't have a clue of who they are and where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they came from people that are very strong and faithful and diligent type people. So to me, that's why I think this movie is so important because if our kids can see where they came from, maybe they won't act in certain ways that they act today, you
But you
know?
know, I've always thought, and I'm pretty sure this film will bring this out. I've always thought that the only thing that has gotten us to this point and will take us further is our faith and our belief system.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just don't see any other way. I really don't.
Absolutely. You, like I said, 185 years, the church is still on the same grounds that it started from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's faith of the people that was involved in that.
Yeah.
To stay steady and keep pushing on, and of course they had all kind of trials and tribulation because God said we won't live on this land without it, but they just push on through it, and it's still going strong right now today.
You know, and especially when you think about those stories that your grandparents and parents have told you in the past, because my grandmother would tell us how stories were passed down, how they would be in the fields and then they slip, just like you said,
Right,
and go down to the brush harbor.
right.
And that gave them the strength to carry on another day.
Yeah, that's amazing too because when we say slip and sneak and all that, I mean, it was serious danger that
It
they
was.
was, I mean, because if they would get caught, you know what would happen to them. And just to push through that and have the strength and the belief and faith in God to just keep pushing, that's amazing to me because that's the strength of our people.
No
That's
question
that's who
about it.
we are.
Yeah, no question about it. So does that theme come out in the movie? Is that
I I will hope so. That's something that I really focus in on. We got a strong scene in it, the brush arbor scene that it's a reenactment scene, and it describes that and it shows that.